a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Hello, everyone. Well, my guest today is a musician, and he is keeping the music of the 70s alive. He is from Elora, Ontario, and his stage name is, I love this, Ray Frumalorra. Welcome to the show, Ray.
Hey, that Italian guy. That's what they always say. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but it's Ray the Italian guy.
People are weird with names. Like some people would see my last name and not sure how to pronounce it. And I'm like, well, it's guitar. It just, you know.
Yeah. I know. But
I guess it's because they can't quite believe it.
yeah.
Anyway, so tell me about your music career. Like for you,
Well,
when did it start?
yeah, sure. Okay, so for me, I was a late starter, even though music had always been around and a part of my life since a kid, growing up in Montreal. Um, I didn't play a note of music until I turned 50. And part of that was because there just wasn't anything back when I was a kid in the late 60s, early 70s. I didn't even know where there was a music shop. None of my friends played any musical instruments whatsoever. So you didn't have that, I don't know, that mentor factor, someone that you wanted to be like, other than the people that you heard, on the radio. So as I progressed later in life, I was an entrepreneur, so I really didn't have enough hours in the day to get things done. And I was fortunate enough to do well enough that I could sort of back off in my late 40s per se and start taking life easy. And it was then moving up to that big 50 birthday that I decided, I've always wanted to play an instrument. I like to learn how to play the guitar. And that's how it all started. And I went out and bought my first guitar. It was cheap, I think for $100 and something. I got the guitar, the case, the tuner, the strings, the book, you name it, they gave it to me. Okay. And I started with Guitar for Dummies, and I just started reading. I knew nothing about anything, and away I went. And but I was lucky to have a circle of friends that all played, accomplished players for the most part, some of them in bands. And that helped greatly because you learn so much more by being in the environment, watching, learning the little tips and the tricks, So then it started, as soon as I got my fingers around the guitar to the point where, I kind of could make it sound okay, then the words started coming out. And I've always been pretty proficient. Way back, I'm from a school, maybe you are, where pen and paper, fountain pens, cartridge pens, that type of thing. So everything, even to this day, I prefer pencil, but it's pen to paper, pencil to paper to this day. So I started writing things that I have seen and experienced over life, and, would play them around kitchen parties and things, and people would start, hey, that was really good. Like, how long, you must have been doing this. No, I just started. Like, I'm a year or two in. So it kind of went from there. And then it was, well, why don't you come to this open mic, and why don't you come down here and do this and do that? And it's like, you're looking for feedback, but you want that good homegrown feedback. Okay. So when the server comes to your table in a restaurant, says, how was everything? Well, 99 people out of 100 say, it was just great. What you really want is what they say when they leave.
Right.
Oh, that was just a load of garbage, But that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
So I never went around that say, hey, how was everything? But I used to get people all the time coming up, hey, that was a cool little song. I can relate to this, or I can relate to that. And so then you go to the next level and you start seeking out better players to be in the company of, and better venues where they expect a little more. And next thing you know, you're out playing coffee shops and little pubs, and next thing you know, you got an internet channel.
Nice. Yeah. So, but what has all of that to do with keeping the music of the 70s alive?
Okay, so basically what happened was when I started playing, before I started writing lyrics, the first things I've always been like, everybody has a connection to their youth, whether it's through a muscle car or a sporting event or a piece of equipment, sporting equipment. Mine, a lot of it was songs, right? Songs that you remember exactly where you were, how old you were, and 9 times out of 10, those childhood feelings are all warm and fuzzy. There's never anything bad, or there wasn't with me. So I started, the minute I could play, or realize I could sort of play, is I started going back to the old, the songs from the Carpenters and the Partridge Family and Trooper and, all these oldies that, first kiss, first crush, first time driving a car, something great happened to me in hockey today, and I just remember that song. Then I realized, my God, I'm not alone. These people are reacting. I would go and play somewhere and they're all talking and having their dinner, and I would whip out an old Trooper song or something, and everybody's just looking along and they're nodding. And it just, everything went off. Like I just said, geez, there's a lot of people like me that just that one song, whether it's April Wine or Trooper or whoever it may be, if you play it and 9 times out of 10, they haven't heard it and it takes them back to that time in the 70s. So that became what I became known for. Everywhere I went, I was the 70s guy. I was going to whip out some obscure songs, from the early 70s, the K-Tel records, things like that, So that's kind of has been my niche, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Because most people are so intent on playing their covers and they have to be the modern songs, and rightly so, I guess, if you're catering to that crowd, So I'm best for the fine wine age, 45 plus kind of thing.
So explain to me the feeling for you from being a business owner, businessman, to now being somebody who's so involved in music.
Yeah, it's been a complete life change. Along with that, I changed everything about my life. I changed the way I eat. I cut out alcohol. I did a lot of things around that. So music it's just been like, I don't know, it's like it's leading me on my second half of my journey. And it has just calmed everything down. There is no more deadlines. If I take a job seasonally, or I want to work here and there, or maybe I want to buy a toy, so I, go out and get, it's on my terms. There's as little stress as humanly possible. Music on every day. I play every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. I have to pluck those strings. I have to get something out,
Right. Now, are you a solo performer or do you do both?
Yes, no, I'm a solo performer, and I would love to play with other people. I just think that at this stage of my life, to be in a band, or you have to have commitment from multiple people. And I don't know if I'm going to find anybody at this age that we have so much in common, that we actually enjoy spending a lot of time together, and we have musical things in common and skill sets that match and things like that. So I've kind of resigned to the fact that I could be solo. And Nancy, one of the best parts of being solo is you get to keep all the money, but also, you know what? If I want to slow things down in the middle of a song, I can do it. I don't have to worry about what the bass player thinks, or the drummer, or the other guitar player. If I want to play that song over and over again in a loop, I can do it. I can stop, I can start, I can do whatever I want. And I don't have to answer to anybody. So
I can relate, because like I'm on my own doing this, whereas one time I had a team, another time I worked with an online radio TV station. So now I can air as many interviews as I want, or as many as I don't want. So it's a certain freedom, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go as long as you want. For the most part, you could probably talk about whatever you want. So for sure, absolutely.
So do you perform mostly in and around Elora?
Well, I did, yes. Guelph, Elora, Kitchener, Cambridge, those are little cities that form what we call, I think it's the Golden Triangle or something. outside of the GTA, outside of the Greater Toronto area. So we're about an hour from Toronto. And yes, up until COVID, okay, just as COVID hit, I started playing at a local mill that, like a multi-million-dollar thing that they built downtown. And then COVID hit, and everybody was just scrambling. And that's kind of when I decided that, hey, I'm going to start playing online. And that was a whole nother, that was like opening a can of worms, trust me. Oh, but so ironically, I haven't gone back to playing live.
Okay.
I strictly play online. I go to a site called Street Jelly, and I log in shows. I advertise the shows, and I perform for, a half hour at a time or whatever.
Right.
People can tip you if they're so inclined. I started making videos, and I just recently launched a TikTok channel.
Okay.
And I would say it's barely 2 weeks old, and I think I'm scraping around 3,000 followers.
Wow.
So yeah. But I think that's part of TikTok. I think it's so fast paced that everything is exaggerated. But it has opened things up. And all I did was I just started making videos of me practicing and thinking, well, there's probably other people want to hear how I do it. I don't know. And it just boom, boom, boom. So now my day is consumed of planning out videos and making these little videos, and I keep them as raw and natural as possible. And I post and I engage with my followers. And I started a YouTube channel. Now that is really raw and early. And I'm not sure where I'm going with it, but it's called The Wired Idiot. And it basically helps people do what I'm doing, take their stuff online, how to sound half decent, what the little kind of ins and outs are of broadcasting on YouTube, things like that, making quality videos, stuff like that. So that's very, very new. There's only a handful of videos up there, but I think what I'm going to do is integrate the TikTok into the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So that not only will it be for people that are wondering how to use a looper pedal or guitar pedals or how to hook up to your iPhone, it'll also be for people looking for some form of instruction or motivation. It's really the motivation end that I come from. I don't sit and go, here's how you play a D chord. What I do is I assume you know how to play the D. Now here's some things you can do with it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Here's how it ties into the other chords. Here's why you play it this way and not that way. Yeah.
Now, one of the things, of course, that I found with doing things online, it opens a whole new world, right?
Literally. So to put it in perspective, if you've just written a new song and you want to try it out somewhere, I would go to Guelph. I don't know what the population of Guelph is, 100,000 people, of which maybe 40 are in that bar or that coffee shop, and they hear my song. If I do the same thing online, potentially I've got millions of people, right?
Yes.
Looking and watching, and you'd never know, right? At any age, you never know. That dream is alive, Nancy.
I'm a dreamer. I'm a total dreamer. And I always tell people, dream big. It costs the same as a little dream.
How did Justin Bieber get found? Well, wasn't it YouTube videos? And those stories are all over about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it's also good. I think it's great that you've gone with the because of COVID, because for a lot of people, COVID kind of caused them to go into a bit of a depression. And they didn't know how to get out of it. Like for me, I was fine with it because I'm a homebody anyway,
Same here. Yeah.
Right. So being online and being able to do, like, I've interviewed people. Well, you're in Elora. There we are. You're in Ontario. I'm in British Columbia. And I would not have been able to do this otherwise. Right.
That's right. And for me, what's happened, like you, COVID didn't really affect me that much. I was working seasonally I cut grass on a golf course, the putting greens and all that. And they were not closed. There were restrictions. So I went to work every day, or whenever I was in, I would go to work, and I didn't really notice a difference. Okay. Like you being a homebody, like I am, never bothered me. But after when we've all sort of got back to some sort of new normal, I guess they call it. Yeah, it's bothered me. It has inhibited me from going out. It has inhibited me to go to these open mics.
Right.
I got sick, like a lot of people did.
Yeah.
And I was one of those unfortunates that I got all the symptoms. You name it, I had it, okay?
Wow.
And I don't want that again. That
Yeah.
was one of the worst 2-3 weeks of my life. And that's in the back of your head,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because people aren't adjusting. They're just right back into, you know, everybody's in everybody's face. And
That's true. Yeah. I shouldn't have said I'm a homebody. I'm more like a loner.
yeah, no, I can relate. Yeah.
It's a different.
I've been a single child growing up, so I you know, right?
I was one of 12. How do you be?
Oh.
But I was sick a lot as a child.
So I do it because I'm used to it. You do it because you probably used to do it to get away from the other 11.
Yes. But they'd be out playing and I'd be in bed, you know, it was that sort of idea. But anyway, it just creates who we are, right? And I kind of like that that's one of the reasons why I like doing the show is, you know, I some people I can relate to.
Yep.
You know, as some of the things we experienced, although what I can't relate to, I'm not a musician while you are, and you're a singer, which I don't do that either, you know, so it's all very good. So, okay, so now you talked about your TikTok. I talked about merging that in with your YouTube. And what did you remind me again the name of your YouTube channel?
Oh, the YouTube is The Wired Idiot. The
Wired Idiot. I have to write that down. I have such a bad memory because I love that, and those are the things that I enjoy. The fun names that people come up with.
Yeah, and it's kind of I don't know. I guess it's sort of a take on those books that you used to. Do they still do them? Idiots or something? Football for idiots, or investing for idiots, or dummies, or something.
For dummies. Yeah, I don't know if they still do them. I don't. I haven't.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it's from. In that they take things and they dummy it down to the lowest. When I was trying to do this online during COVID, you know, I sat there on YouTube and went through all the videos and right over my head. Like I barely knew where to plug. Like I could barely unscrew a light bulb. Okay, real life. So I was lost.
Right.
So I searched and I just thought, you know what? I'm going to talk to people like they're stupid, like I am. And you know, this goes in that hole there. Okay. Yeah. And when you do that, you got to turn this. Don't ask why. That's none of your business because you won't understand. Just turn it. Yeah. That's how I learn, right? So I tell people, like, when you're talking to me, you're talking to a senior, you know, didn't grow up with computers. There were cell phones, you know. Same here. Yeah. I missed it by, well, what was I? I was in my mid-30s when Windows 95, I think that's the kind of benchmark, right? When it went from still having to put in those slashes and dots to just click, click, click. It was, I think, Windows 95 or Windows 3.1, or that kind of rings a bell too. Yeah. And it was already too late. I just didn't get my head around how it all works. You know, where my daughter, I mean, they would be lost. Yeah. It's second nature to them with phones and things like that. So my daughter, yeah, it's true. My daughter says, Mom, why do you still have a landline? Why not? You know? Exactly. Oh my gosh, this is fun. Well, we're just about out of time. I did enjoy talking to you. Thanks again, you know, and I really enjoyed it. Same here. I just want to remind. I thought you were a musician with that name. I thought that was a stage name. You talk about Frumalorra. I thought, oh, this is a woman that is all about guitars, and I'm probably going to show up there, and she's going to have guitars all along the walls, and she's going to want to talk about the old Gibson guitar that she has. And I'm like, okay, this is. I am the old guitar. Oh, this has been fun. Thanks for the laugh. I appreciate that. And just stay on camera. So everybody, you've been listening to Ray Frumalorra. That's who he is on Facebook. And remember, you can find his videos on YouTube, The Wired Idiot. So check it out. And I think you might learn something. And if you're new to playing the guitar, then go to my TikTok, Play with Ray Ray. Oh, okay. Play with Ray Ray. All right. So easy enough to remember. TikTok, Play with Ray Ray. YouTube, The Wired Idiot. So, yeah, thanks everybody for watching the show. I sure hope you continue to do so. And
Keep
Will
watching.
do. I
Thank-
will be plucking and playing until they drag me out of here. Okay. Pleasure to meet you, Nancy.
You too, Ray. And thanks, everybody, and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.